A true wanderer, Ajan Man rarely stayed in the same location for more than one rains retreat. After the rains ended, he and his monks roamed freely, unburdened, through the vast northeastern wilderness, like birds at ease, flying peacefully to wherever the wind took them. Like birds who soar freely and are content to land in a tree, pond, or marsh, then to fly off and leave all behind with no lingering attachment. So too did Tudanga monks lead lives of sublime detachment. Thus, in 1917, as the annual monsoon season was fast approaching, Ajan Man and a group of 60 monks wandered down from the north to arrive in the wooded foothills overlooking the village of Ban Hui Sai. They camped under trees, in caves, under overhanging cliffs, and in nearby charnel grounds. Following Ajahn Sau's groundbreaking path into the Ban Hui Sai community, Ajan Man's arrival caused a stir of excitement. The villagers were thrilled with the prospect of making merit by supporting monks. The entire village of Bang Hui Sai welcomed the Dharma monks with faith and gratitude. Ajan Man and his disciples took up their practice in their new surroundings, living simply and practicing meditation in the Tudanga tradition. Many villagers flocked to the hillside encampment on lunar observant days, and Tapai's parents made sure to join them. So Tapai is the name of Maechee Kaew. At that time, Tapai was hardly aware of Ajahn Mun's distinguished reputation. She had heard his name mentioned in connection with Ajahn Sao. The two had long been close spiritual companions, supporting and encouraging each other in the way of practice. That much Tapai knew, but little else. Accompanying her parents from time to time, she noticed differences between Ajan Man and Ajahn Sao. She saw at once that Ajahn Man's forceful, dynamic character contrasted sharply with Ajahn Sao's serene and even temperament. Physically, Ajahn Man was shorter and more slender than Ajahn Sao, but when he spoke, he was much more active. His arms flew, his hands gestured dramatically, and his voice thundered. Tapai felt a little afraid of Ajahn Man at first, a little wary of his intensity. In the village each morning, as she placed offerings of food in his alms bowl, Ajahn Man frequently stopped and addressed her directly, encouraging her to come see him more often. But feeling shy and timid in his presence, Tapai only dared to go on special religious days when she was with her parents and a group of the local villagers. Ajahn Man was always exceptionally kind to her, often recognizing her presence on observance days and exchanging a few words with her. Knowing intuitively that she possessed uncommon spiritual potential and deep devotion, he began encouraging her to do meditation. He explained to her the same basic technique that Ajahn Sao had taught, silent repetition of the meditation word Buddho, practiced repeatedly and continuously until it became the sole object of her awareness. He emphasized that mindfulness, being mindful and aware only of the moment-to-moment recitation of each syllable, Buddho, Buddho, must be present to direct her efforts. It would make her alert and fully attentive to the rise and fall of each repetition. A simple method, she thought, but due to instinctive modesty, she hesitated taking it up at first. As Ajan Man repeatedly insisted that she try meditation practice, Tapai began to suspect that she must possess some inherent ability. She thought to herself, I'm just an ordinary village girl. But I must have some inherent virtue. Why else would he show such an interest in me? From now on, I should take his advice and try to practice meditation in the way he has so kindly taught me. One evening after dinner, Tapai read it herself and went to her bedroom early. All day, she had felt a willful determination welling up inside her heart. Today was the day to focus her full attention on the repetition of Buddho, just as Ajan Man had taught her. With devotion and a serious sense of purpose, Tapai began to mentally repeat the meditation word Buddho. After about 15 minutes of steady, deliberate recitation, her conscious mind suddenly dropped down to the heart and converged into a profound state of quiet stillness. It was as though she had instantly fallen to the bottom of a well, where her body and mind vanished into silence. The experience was so new and so extraordinary that she had no idea what had happened to her. After a brief time, her mind withdrew slightly from deep samadhi, and she became uncomfortably aware of an image of a body lying dead in front of her. She recognized her own corpse very clearly. The image was so real and so vivid in detail that it convinced her she must have died. Suddenly, seemingly out of nowhere, an anxious thought ruffled the calm. Since I'm dead, who will take my place cooking rice to put into the monks' bowls tomorrow? Who's going to tell Ajan Man that I died sitting in meditation tonight? Quickly suppressing these worries, Tapai steadied her mind and accepted her fate. She mused, if I'm dead, I'm dead. Everyone in the world is bound to die. Nobody can escape from death. Even a great king must die one day. Her mind then became resolute and focused as she fixed her attention to the dead body lying prostrate before her. The image had not faded or changed in the least, which reinforced her impression that she was actually dead. As she pondered the consequences of her death without reaching any conclusions, a small group of local villagers appeared in her vision. They simply materialized in the picture, slowly picked up her limp, lifeless body, and carried it to a nearby charnel ground. As the villagers laid her body in the middle of the desolate area, she noticed Ajan Man and a group of monks solemnly walking toward the corpse. Ajan Man stopped in front of it and gazed down for a moment before turning to the monks to say, "This girl is dead. Now I'll perform the funeral rites." As the monks looked on impassively, heads slightly bowed, Ajan Man softly intoned the funeral chant, Anicca Vata Sankhara. When the components that make up the body have died, the body is no longer of use. The heart, however, does not die. It goes on working ceaselessly. When it develops in the way of virtue, its benefits are unlimited. But if it is used in harmful ways, it becomes a danger to oneself. With calm deliberation, Ajan Man slowly repeated this dictum 3 times in succession. Standing tall and perfectly still, except for the movement of his arm, he tapped her corpse 3 times with his walking stick, declaring with each tap, "The body does not last. Having been born, it must die. The heart, however, does last. It is never born, and it does not die. When the body dies, it is constantly in motion, spinning and shifting, following the causes and conditions that lead it on." Continuing to tap the corpse rhythmically with the tip of his walking stick, Ajan Man appeared to reiterate this truth over and over again. With each gentle tap of his stick, her body started to decompose. First, the skin blistered and peeled, exposing the flesh beneath. Further tapping rotted the flesh and sinews, revealing the bones and inner organs. Entranced, Tapai watched passively as her entire body quickly decayed, until only the heart bones remained intact. Placing his hands in the skeletal debris and picking up the kernel of the heart in his palm, Ajan Man announced, "The heart can never be destroyed. If it were destroyed, you would never regain consciousness." Tapai witnessed the unfolding of the entire scene with a mixture of awe and trepidation. She was not sure how to understand it. When Ajan Man finished speaking, she puzzled. If the body decomposes at death, leaving only the bones behind, what is it that regains consciousness? Still looking at the kernel in his hand and without lifting his gaze, Ajan Man immediately answered her thought. "It's bound to return. How could you not regain consciousness when the kernel that brings it back is still there? You will regain consciousness tomorrow morning at dawn." Tapai spent the entire night seated in meditation, completely absorbed in the vision of a dead body. Only at the first light of dawn did her mind withdraw from deep samadhi. As she was becoming aware of herself, she looked down at her body, seated on the bed. She realized with a sigh of relief that she had not died. Her normal waking state had returned, and she felt pleased to be alive. But then she pondered the night's events. She began to chide herself for falling asleep and dreaming throughout the night when she should have been meditating instead. She was sure that Ajan Man would be disappointed with her. Later in the morning, Ajan Man passed by her house on his daily alms round. As Tapai placed food in his alms bowl, he looked at her quizzically, then he smiled and told her to come see him when he had finished eating. Her father accompanied her on the familiar walk to Ajan Man's encampment, unsure why she was asked to go. Could there be a problem? Tapai walked silently, brooding and feeling ashamed of herself for falling asleep in meditation. What was she going to tell Ajan Man? Certainly he'll be displeased. She wanted to hide, but she didn't know where or how. As soon as they entered the encampment, Tapai mumbled some excuse to her father and rushed off to help the women folk fetch water at the stream. Seeing Tarzan, Tapai's father, approaching alone, Ajan Man looked surprised and asked for Tapai's whereabouts. Tarzan then quickly fetched his daughter from the stream. Nervous and uneasy, Tapai crawled to where Ajahn Mun was seated and bowed down 3 times before him. Immediately, before she had time to draw a breath, he asked her, "How was your meditation last night?" Timidly and awkwardly, she replied, "It was just hopeless, sir." After repeating Buddho for about 15 minutes, I felt my mind drop down a deep well. After that, I fell asleep and dreamed all night long. When I awoke at dawn, I was so disappointed with my meditation that I still can't get over it. I'm really worried you'll scold me for my lack of effort. Upon hearing this, Ajan Man laughed with joy and asked her straight away, "How did you sleep? And what did you dream? Please, tell me about it." When she told him what had happened, he roared with laughter. Delighted by her story, he said, "That was not sleep. You were not dreaming. What you experienced was the calm, integrated state called samadhi. Remember this well. What you thought was a dream was really a vision arising spontaneously from the deep concentration of samadhi. If you have any further experiences of this kind, just relax and allow them to happen. There is no need to be worried or frightened. I don't want you to be afraid, but you must remain alert and fully aware of whatever takes place in your meditation. As long as I'm living here, no harm will come to you. But from now on, please come and tell me about the visions that you experience in your meditation."